Hello and welcome back to the end of another week. It is Sunday, the 1st of December, and it is probably going to be the last nice day out here. Today was actually like 70 degrees. It was super nice. I actually had to stop what I was doing in order to film my update because I keep forgetting that the sunset is quite early this time of year. So last week was Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates that. I'll throw in some photos of earlier this week because we picked up some wood so that we have enough to get us through most of the winter. So that's exciting. The garden was a muddy disaster when I got back. So I've been recovering from jet lag, and basically I've been working on prepping the garden for the winter and enjoying the sunsets of this week because they've been fantastic. The flowers are still blooming, so that's kind of cool. It's been unseasonably warm, so things haven't died yet. But we are using the fireplace, so that's helping with at least the electricity bill there. I remulched the main garden path going into the yard, so that's nice and fresh. And the nasturtiums are still doing their thing, but I called it quits on the zucchini and the winter squash. So I pulled those out of the bed and redid those and made them nice and fresh to do some more winter planting. I'm slowly but surely sorting out the fourth bed that's in the ground, but it still needs a lot of work. You can see we've gone ahead and trimmed down the grass. Francis did that. I tried doing a little bit, but it's actually really hard work, so I'm glad I don't do it. Unfortunately, he did cut down my tea tree that was growing over there. So it always seems that like whenever we have to mow the grass, something gets cut. You can see up there, there's all those piles of logs. Those actually come from the forest way over there. So I had kind of wondered if or when they would start harvesting that, and apparently it's now. So I'll throw up some photos and video of that. Down in here, you can see that it's all been cut. So I think this week we may work on the orchard. That's kind of the plan because it's starting to get cold. You can see the fig has lost all its leaves. But there's still quite a few things that are going pretty well. I stopped to take the video, but I've been tucking in the beds for winter time, and you can see like here, this is the main. If I back up, this was the part that was just a disaster when I got home. So I put some fresh mulch down, and I actually remulched over there as well. And that's one of the prepped beds, and the other prepped bed is up here, and you can see that this is not so high anymore. I've been gradually trying to flatten it out. But my primary concern is getting things mulched, because starting tomorrow, we're actually expecting a lot of rain and the temperatures to tank like 10 or 15 degrees. So today is really the last of our nice days. Obviously we haven't gotten freezes yet because the nasturtiums, as I said earlier, are still doing their thing, which is great. As a matter of fact, the physalis over there, I mean, there's nasturtiums on the bottom, but there's physalis on the top. They still have like some flowers and some fruit. So I've been watching the bumblebees do their thing too. So that's cool. I've ordered plant covers for the aubergines and pepper that I want to try to overwinter in the ground, and I still have the ones that I'm overwintering in pots in my room, and we'll see how they fare. And then I noticed over here, we actually have some volunteer tomatoes this late in the year. So there's a tomato here, and I know that there's one more tomato over there, and there's a tiny little tomato over there, and I think there's actually one more over there. So I might actually try putting like cloches on them, because I don't think our winter is going to be that cold, to be honest. We might barely hit freezing, but it'll probably be like a very light freeze. So I'm going to experiment and see how the tomatoes do. I did clear out that pile of dirt that was there, and I relocated it in here to start building up, excuse me, oh, excuse me, to start building up this bed. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have to take some of this dirt off. I don't want to take too much off, but I want to try to get it as level to the ground as possible. So this dirt mixed with the last of the compost that we have sitting in a pile way over there, I think will end up being used down in the orchard for the trees, because since we have heavy clay, I'm doing the mound technique where basically I plant the trees above grade and cover them with a mound of dirt. I think our dirt is going to end up being a combination of this, which is actually our topsoil. It's not the clay. It's the topsoil mixed with some fresh organic stuff. The pigeons were flying around me. So what else is happening? Not much. Yeah, I think that's about it for this week. Ooh, I did order my chicken coop. It's still on back order, so I'm probably not going to get it till the middle of December, but that has actually been purchased, so I'm in the wait list to get that. So that's exciting. And I'm also in a wait list to get a bunch of like unique tubers to potentially plant in some of these pots, which ultimately all need to get rearranged, because the plan here, originally I was thinking about putting asparagus tubs along this wall, but since they're basically going to stay put and not move, and they get very tall, I'm actually thinking about using this north side to put asparagus. And since I use that area mainly for my annuals, I think what I'll do is I'll start with maybe 2 raised planters here, because I'm concerned about putting them in the clay dirt because it's so compact and soggy. But they have like very low, like 1-foot planters that I could kind of build in those 2 sections there. And then have asparagus, and then potentially start bringing, either planting in the ground or continuing to plant in pots on this side of the garden, some of the perennials. But yeah, I'm not sure. And we never did get around to doing the chicken fence while Francis was on vacation. So now he's not on vacation. And I think what we'll probably end up doing is I need to go and clear out like some of the rocks and debris, and potentially pull up some of these tarps that have been down for the solarization of the dirt to kind of kill the weeds there. because ultimately we're taking it out to that post there, which kind of corresponds to this row of tarp right here in the front. So I think I'll be cleaning up that, pulling the tarp back, and then getting all of that mulched. So that way we actually have the space designated for the chicken area, and it would be completely mulched. And I'm also thinking about exactly how I'm going to be mulching this area down here, because ultimately I'd like to have a mulch path that goes down this slope and into the driveway, but I have to bear in mind that we're going to be redoing the driveway. So yeah, I'm not sure. Lots of things to come. This pallet I know I want to use over in this area for the chickens. These pallets up there I'll be using for the chicken compost area. I'm getting a bunch of willow, so I'm actually planning on planting a ton of willow, probably all the way along here, because willow's actually safe for the chickens. And it'll be a combination windbreak / erosion control, because you can see that the property kind of slopes up, and the cornfields are actually at least, I mean, it varies between like 1 and like 3 or 4 feet higher than us. So we'll have willow going all the way around there, which I'll plan on coppicing every year, and we'll store it in the carport for fire kindling. Yes, out in the country we have a lot of tractors that go by making lots of noise. Yeah, but beautiful sunset, looking on the forest that's being harvested. Thankfully, they're not clear cutting it. They're just kind of selectively taking trees out. So it's being thinned, really, but it still looks okay. I went up there and checked it out. And yeah, so that's it for this week. I hope you had a good week. I'll leave you with the sunset. Ooh. And I'll see you next week. Bye.